Somos almas hambrientas buscando un espacio. Desplieguen sus alas, mis calos y calas. Esterarte, imposible no amarte. Imposible no amarte.
Hola hermanas y hermanos del arte, ¿cómo están? Bienvenidos a otra edición de Esther Arte. La última vez me reemplazó Nati en la lectura de Marilyn Monroe in Her Own Words, pero bueno, ahora voy a seguir yo. Ella había dejado en la parte de Star, así que bueno, vamos a arrancar aquí con este libro muy interesante, con imágenes que después vamos a compartir con ustedes, ¿eh? It is in the public that made me a star. If I am a star, the public, not the studio, no one particular person, the public. The time when I sort of began to think I was famous, I was driving somebody to the airport, and as I came back, there was this movie house, and I saw my name in lights. I pulled the car up and a distance down the street. It was too much to take up close, all of a sudden. And I said, God, somebody's made a mistake. But there it was in lights. And I sat there and I said, so that's the way it looks. And yet at the studio they had said, remember you're not a star. Yet there it is up in lights. I really got the idea I must be a star of something from the newspaper man. I'm saying men, not the women, who would interview me and they would be warm and friendly. By the way, that part of the press, the men of the press, unless they have their own personal quirks against me, they were always very warm and friendly. And they'd say, you're the only star. I'd say, star? And they look at me as if I were nuts. I think they, in their own kind of way, made me realize I was famous. I kept driving past the theater with my name on the marquee. Marilyn Monroe. Was excited. I wished were using normal jeans so that all the kids at the home and schools who never noticed me could see it. When Marilyn obtained her first major film contract, she was heard to say, well, that's the last cock I have to suck. In 1953, Marilyn Monroe received the Photoplay Prize for Most Popular Actress of the Year. At the award ceremony and accompanying dinner, she wore a rather daring dress, which elicited the following comment from John Crawford. Sex plays a tremendously important part in every person's life. People are interested in it, intrigued by it, but they don't like it to see it flouted in their faces. They should tell Miss Monroe that the public likes provocative feminine personalities, but he also likes to know that underneath it all, the actresses are ladies. I think the thing that hit me hardest about Miss Crawford's story is that it came from her. I've always admired her for being such a wonderful mother, for taking 4 children and giving them a fine home. Who better than I knows what it means to homeless little ones? When Marilyn Monroe received a prize from the Italian film industry, Anna Magnani was also present at the award ceremony. As she left, Magnani shouted "Putani." Whore means in English. These women movie stars never get along with me. They hate me on sight, so I've given up trying to make them like me. I remember when I got the part in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, Jane Russell. She was the brunette in it, and I was the blonde. She got 200 and that $200,000 for it, and I got my $500 a week. But that to me was, considerable. She, by the way, was quite wonderful to me. The only thing was I couldn't get a dressing room. I said finally, I really got to this kind of level. I said, look, after all, I am the blonde and and it is gentlemen prefer blondes, because still they kept saying, "Remember, you're not a star." I said, "Well, whatever I am the blonde." Everybody in the studio wanted me as a star in his movie. I finally went into Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, and after that, How to Marry a Millionaire. I liked doing these pictures. I liked the fact that I was important in making them a great financial success, and that my studio cleaned up a fortune. Despite the fact that its chiefs had considered me unphotogenic, I liked the fact that the movie salesmen who came to Hollywood for a big studio sales rally whistled loudest and longest when I entered their midst. When Jane Russell and I were together in the cast of Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, we were asked to put our footprints in wet concrete, Jim Durant's nose, and the print of one of Betty Grable's legs. I suggested that Jane lean over the wet cement and that I sit down in it and we could leave our prints that way, but my idea was vetoed. vetoed. After that, I suggested that Gromans use a diamond to dot the I in the Marilyn. I scratched in the wet concrete. They finally compromised on dotting it with a rhinestone, but some slight tears chilled that rhinestone out. Sorry, I don't understand this part. If I observed all the rules, I never had got anywhere. I used to say myself, "What the devil have you got to be proud about, Marilyn Monroe?" And I answered, "Everything, everything." And I walked slowly and turned my head slowly as I were a queen. The only trouble with becoming famous as a result of a half dozen scandals happening in that the scandal made a star can just rest on her own scandals. If she wants to keep her high place in the public eye and on the Hollywood producers' casting list, she has to keep getting in more and more hot water. After you're 35, getting into romantic hot water is a little difficult, and getting yourself publicized in love triangles and cafe duels over your favors needs not only smart press agents but also a little miracle to help out. Success came to me in a rush. It surprised me, my employers, much more than it did me. Even when I had played only by bit parts in a few films, all the movie magazines and newspapers started printing my picture and giving me write ups. I used to tell lies in my interviews, chiefly about my mother and father. I'd say she was dead and he was somewhere else in Europe. I lied because I was ashamed to have the world know my mother was in a mental institution and that I had been born out of wedlock and never heard my legal father's voice. I couldn't believe it. There were thousands of them screaming for me. I was scared, but I'd do it again. I never believed all the fan mail I got was real until I sang for the troops in Korea. Wow, they really liked me. When I travel, it's always the same. No matter where I go or what I go there, it all ends up the same way. I've never seen anything becoming a movie star is like living on a merry-go-round. I feel as though it's all happening to someone right next to me. I'm close, I can feel it, I can hear it, but it isn't really me. I flew into New York at 8 o'clock one morning, and there were all those photographers waiting to take pictures of me at the airport. And all that morning I had a series of interviews with newspaper people. Those interviews came 20 minutes or a half hour apart. Then I was rushed to a luncheon with a group of magazine people. And right after luncheon, I tore over to the Daily News building. I don't think anyone can take that kind of routine very long. Another complication is that I have a certain sort of stupid sincerity. I mean, I don't want to tell everybody who interviews me the same thing. I want to tell them all to have something new and different and exclusive. When I worry about that, I start to get sick at my stomach. I know what it feels like. I refuse to let articles appear in movie magazines signed by Marilyn Monroe. I might never see that article and it might be okayed by somebody in the studio, This is wrong because when I was a little girl, I read science stories in fan magazines and believed every word the stars said in them. Then I tried to model my life after the lives of the stars I read about. If I'm going to have that kind of influence, I want to be sure it's because of something I actually said or written. It stirs up envy, fame does. People you run into feel that, well, who is she? Who does she think she is? Marilyn Monroe. The feel fame gives them some kind of privilege to walk up to you and say anything to you, of any kind of nature, and it won't hurt your feelings, like it's happening to your clothing. Early in the morning, when I take a look outside, garbage collectors on 57th Street say, "Hi Marilyn, how are you this morning?" It's an honor for me, and I love them for it. Those workers. All I have to do is walk past them and they whistle. Sometimes Marilyn will go with no makeup, wearing dark glasses and a headscarf. In spite of that, I've had people stop me and say, "I know who you are." And I tell them, "Oh no, you're wrong. I'm Shireen North," or "I'm Mammy Van Doren." "Oh no, you're not," then tell me. We recognize the voice. I knew I belonged to the audience, that I belonged to the world, not because of my talent, not even because I was beautiful, but because I never belonged to any one individual. The public was my only family, my only prize charming, the only house I ever dreamed of. I don't care about the critics. I don't care about anybody. The only people I care about are the people in Times Square, across the street from the theater, who can get close as I come in. If I had light makeup on, they never said see me. This makeup is for them, so that when I wave to them, it will soften out in the distance across the square. It has gotten me into trouble, telling the truth, I mean. When I get into trouble being too direct, I try to pull back. People think I'm coy. My reputation for being direct is not good for me. You take what I'm supposed to have said about disliking being interviewed by women reporters, but that with gentlemen of the press it's different because we have a mutual appreciation of being male and female. Well, I didn't say that I dislike women reporters. As dumb as I am, I wouldn't be that dumb, although that in itself is a kind of mysterious remark because people don't really know how dumb I am. But I honestly prefer men reporters. They're more stimulating. That's probably why. Following the baby which she says she had as a teenager and several miscarriages, Marilyn Monroe underwent an operation in the hope that she would be able to have children again. What good is being Marilyn Monroe? Why can't I just be an ordinary woman, a woman who can have a family? A family? I'd settle for just one baby, my own baby. Oh, what do things have to work out so rotten? I'm so stupid. It's my fault. I had already given up on babies. But then there was this operation. It seemed like a ray of hope, so I got all excited again. I shouldn't have. If I can't be a mother, I better be an actress. I have to be something, and whatever it is, I'm gonna be good at it. The fact that I'm famous gives me a feeling of happiness, but it's only temporary. It's like caviar. Caviar is nice, but to have caviar every day at every meal, I live from my work and for the few people I can count on. But one day my family will be all over and I will say goodbye, fame. I have had you, and I always knew you wouldn't last. It's been an interesting experience, but not my whole life. When she was fired from her part in Something's Got to Give, she was terrified that she would disappear completely from the public eye. If I weren't playable, that would sure make everyone know I'm still around. And we finish this part. Next part of Marilyn, in her own words, will be acting. So, till the next time, bye. Well, this is the part that I just read. Like I always say, sorry for the mistakes. I'm learning this beautiful language, and here we are with Marilyn and her famous potato dress, and with Anna Magnani, the actress who said that she was a putani, whore. What a mean lady. And Marilyn here in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. With the wonderful Jean Harlow. The Walk of Fame. Here with some people. Oh yes, making the troops enjoy this moment, as you can see. Marilyn, beautiful, elegant, saying hi. Here, like she used to say, without makeup, only glasses and scarf, head scarf. In this moment that she enjoys so much, a parade. More pictures of her. And would be our next chapter, acting. See you soon, brothers and sisters.